T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. I am your host, Leslie Colon, and joining me, I am not alone. We are finally back. Emily Mae, how are you doing?
I'm good. We're reunited. We're reunited again.
And it feels so good. I am so excited to be talking about reality shows with you. A little background, if you guys don't know, we actually used to host talking about reality shows. We've done Total Divas, Total Bellas, and now we're here for this new show, Roads to the Top. What do you think about it? I personally loved it.
I mean, I'm so excited. I love the name, by the way. Great branding. Awesome branding. I don't know. I'm so excited. When the announcement came out that they were doing a show about Cody and Brandi and about like the kind of creation of AEW and kind of their life and their world, I was like, yes, because they're couple goals. So I was excited.
Yeah, for sure. There definitely are couple goals. And you touched on something like the creation of AEW. AEW is now like a big wrestling company, and it takes so much to put it together. They have very important roles with this company. You know, Brandi is the chief brand officer, and then Cody is the executive vice president. And Brandi is the first ever Black woman to be like take on this role. So talk to me a little bit about your thoughts. You know, they're obviously overwhelmed. They play so many roles, not only like these like titles, but also mentors and like friends. And like Cody said, you know, when do I take off like this like vice president type of role and then just go back to Cody? So talk to me a little bit about, I know you're in like the wrestling world. So what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, I loved how we got this behind the scenes look of them balancing it all. They're balancing their home life. They're balancing being chief brand officers, being executives, being creatives, and also being kind of these wrestling personalities. And as we got a glimpse of, it's very hard to kind of switch your hats off. You have to be business sometimes, and then you want to be fun still. And you kind of want to have build those relationships. And so we got a glimpse of that in this episode, that they're trying to figure out how to navigate all that. You saw them try to kind of solve some problems and kind of resolve some conflicts within the locker room. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to put on I've been there where I'm production. I have my production producer hat on, but I also have my like on air, have to focus on that hat as well. And so doing that and balancing it all can be really tough, but you have to, like, if you really want to do it, I think it just makes you a stronger person in the wrestling industry when you understand and know how it all works and how all those gears and all those things fit together.
Yeah, for sure. Like Haywood Wong said, shout out to Haywood, always joining us. He
said,
he said, I love seeing the behind the scenes stuff. And then Joseph Boza, hi Joseph, I know we haven't talked to you in a while.
Oh my God, it's been forever. It's a reunion in the chat.
A reunion with everyone. So shout out to everyone who's watching. he said it reminds him of Total Bellas in a unique way. I do agree with that. The only thing that I really, really like about this show is I feel like it's more, not that Total Bellas wasn't authentic, but I like how they also share not only their stories, but you see a little bit about the wrestlers' stories as well. We see Darby Allin and his story about how he was homeless and how, he decided to sleep in his car before a big match just to remind him where he came from. And that
got me. That got me. Oh my God. That got me so hard because Darby, like I just watched Darby Allin have one of the biggest matches this year at AEW. And so hearing that story and then seeing that, hearing that and seeing him, it just brought back a lot of emotions because you don't understand people's stories. You don't understand what people have been through. And some people are more open about it. And so I liked how we got a little glimpse of the softer side of these wrestlers because we have to remember they are people. They have struggles. They have ups and downs. And so I think I like how it has this show has heart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And one of the moments that got to me was, Cody was preparing for this promo. And this promo, like, there's so many little things that it touches on. Not only like,
do you remember this promo? Do you remember seeing that?
No, I don't, because okay. So to be honest, and a lot of people know this, I have not been able to keep up with AEW like since the beginning. So I recently started watching like hardcore, but before this, I had never seen like a lot of because I would switch back and forth. Like NXT was playing
it was the worst. It was the worst.
So I would always be switching back and forth. So
it's all good.
Now watching this and like the behind the scenes look also on Brandi's reaction. You can tell Brandi's a very strong woman, but then like the things that it hits on like the reality part of it, like the real life about how, there was segregation and before like a black woman and a white man couldn't be together, and now they're gonna have a beautiful baby, which the baby is beautiful, by the way.
So beautiful.
And just like how many people can relate to this. Like wrestling is also, they're telling a story. Like a lot of people think it's fake, and I hate it when people say that, but I think this is also giving people, non-wrestling fans, a different perspective about the wrestling world.
Yeah, and I think to your point, like what I liked about some of the moments in today's episode is that it's not just like, I liked how they emphasize promos because people don't realize you can be an amazing wrestler and you can do amazing things in the ring. But if you can't tell stories outside of the ring and you can't be really amazing on the mic, it's going to be really hard for you, right? And like, if you think about the greatest wrestlers of all time, they're amazing on the mic. Like when CM Punk gets on the mic, you know that you're in for a ride. You know that he's going to say something that's going to get the crowd riled up, that's going to get you a little teary-eyed, that's going to get you in the moment. And so what I liked is that promo that Cody did was so important. It was a catalyst to what AEW was going to do and what they are doing. Yeah. And it was so important to have that moment and to get it right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And he got it right, because even not only did it touch people, I'm sure, obviously when the promo happened, but now it can like bring back some memories for like new viewers as well. Like, wow, I never thought about this. And now look, we are an example of so much. Like Brandi represents like women empowerment, how she's in this position where like nobody's ever really been at, and Cody supports her and he doesn't like really bring her down or is like jealous of her position.
Yeah, it's amazing. She has her own voice. She can make decisions. She can step up and say, like, I loved how she had no problems telling people, where are they? Get out of their makeup chair. Like, come on, we're late. Like, get going. Like it, and you need to have kind of that, like, you have to not hold back when you're in a position like that, because people have to trust you, but you have to also be strong in your convictions and say, okay, this is what we're doing. I need the right people around me to do it. And it's amazing that she has that position. And I think she's an inspiration across the board for women in the industry, because there's so many times where I've been in the room and I'm the only female there. and it's hard to have your voice heard.
Right.
And what I liked about this episode is I got to see her in a powerful position, making an amazing change for women in the industry. And also you got to see such diversity in the locker room. And yeah, so.
Definitely. And also, I think the biggest thing here was respect, right? Someone can be put in this position, but if the wrestlers don't respect you, then it's not really going to go anywhere. And this is where you see how she has not only the power, but the locker room respects her. They see her in this position and they know if she's telling me to do something, I have to listen because, you know, this is a male dominated sport. And you can easily be shut down just because you're a female. And we've seen it so many times. We're progressing now. And this is why I also love to see these reality shows, is because it gives you an insight like onto the reality of the situation and how we're still trying to progress. And AEW is progressing. They're really giving women a chance. And I think one of the biggest like lessons here also that we saw in this episode was that women need to stick together. Because we saw a little bit of bickering, so
we saw a little tension in the locker room.
So talk to me a little bit about what was going through your head when you were seeing all that unfold, and Brandi kind of having to bring them back together and tell them like, "Hey, you know, we're a team here. We have to stick together in the locker room."
Yeah, I mean, it's so important, like they said, to elevate women and to be there for each other. Like if you're a woman in the locker room, and you have to be an example for everyone else and support each other. If people are having issues, talking about it in a way that's respectful, kind of addressing issues when they need to be addressed. And I mean, I like how Brandi addressed it over wine. I think that's the way to do it. See, Leslie, that's the way to do it.
That inspired you, right?
That inspired me for tonight. And you just, it's so hard because the expectations are high. You have people coming from all different backgrounds that are used to this type of like, whether they came from the indie scene or whether they came straight from like a larger wrestling company. Like you have people that have all different backgrounds, and so trying to navigate all those personalities, it's a task.
It's a lot.
I don't envy her for having to deal with all that. So you know, I think you just got to talk it out, right? Yeah. Like you should all be there to support each other. You all want to put on the best show. And I think that that's what's important, is making the best show possible, and then just elevating other women and making sure that they, you know, can do the same.
Exactly. We got to stick together, you guys. There's no room for drama.
No drama, guys. Keep it out. Keep it out.
Hey, what's said, Leslie, if you get to go to an AEW event, it's the same energy like NXT when Balor was champ. Emily, I have to go with you because I know you're like an expert and everything. So
I mean, I'm not an expert, but I would say going to an AEW event, when I went to my first one, it is something like none other I have not experienced. And I've been to a lot of wrestling events. So
yes, you have.
I'm taking you, Leslie. We're going.
All right. We're doing
Let's make a date.
Okay.
Pick a date.
And Mike D, I think the show inspired him. He said he wants a baby. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of like baby fever.
There's baby talk. There's baby talk.
So let's get into like this baby talk. Obviously, Brandi and Cody are expecting, and I feel like we talked about like this change in life so much that it's one, I don't think you can really prepare for it, and two, it's scary, and you can tell they're scared. So thoughts on like their conversation about like, are you ready? But are you ready? But you're the mom. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot.
I mean, what new or like almost parents to be don't have those conversations. I feel like they all have those conversations of like, oh God, this is happening, right? Like you might be you can still be excited, but also be terrified of the fact that you have to like be responsible for this human living thing, right? Yeah. So I feel like it was very relatable. And I feel like we'll get into it. I'm sure that's one of our topics we're going to talk about, but I think it's relatable that as professionals, I feel like there is that discussion of like roles and responsibilities, who's going to do what, and how your life changes.
Oh, they're coming after you. We all know you're married.
What?
We all know you're married to a wrestler.
Hey,
So
would
the world
know.
for little babies they want.
Hey, Wood, you have to be my night nanny then.
Well,
Hey, Wood, you're my night nanny then.
for all of those who like are interested in having babies, and you know, there's a process to all that. Emily and her husband have a little tip for you, so let's see what they have in store for us today.
What's the tip?
We'll see right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk. I'm Emily Mae. Babe.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just using my new Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
I'm trying to record Women's Wrestling Talk right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, what is this thing?
Well, it's a trimmer that's especially made for specific areas of your body. And the new 4.0 means that it has a ceramic blade that eliminates nicks and cuts and has wireless charging capability.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some amazing functionalities.
Yeah.
I mean, is this thing waterproof too? You can use this in the shower,
It's
right?
waterproof. I can
So
use
no
it in
mess.
the shower. Use it in the shower. Absolutely no mess on the floor or anywhere else because I hate mess. And I hate using the same trimmer on my face that I use on other areas of my body. So I'm really happy that Manscaped came up with the Lawnmower 4.0.
True. And this is a really great gift for you
Yeah.
and for all the guys out there
Yeah.
and for the ladies. This Lawnmower 4.0.
Yeah, I was really happy to learn that they were a sponsor, actually, of Women's Wrestling Talk. That's what you told me. And they have a special code, WWT, that will get you 20% off.
And you have to get it. It's a perfect gift because it is the best below-the-waist grooming and hygiene product out there.
The best gifts come with free shipping.
They for sure do. And this is the perfect gift for your man. And trust me, he's going to thank you, right?
And guys, your balls will thank you.
There you go. To make, this whole baby making process much easier, make sure you go to manscaped.com and use our code WWT to get 20% off and free shipping.
I have to give it to Joseph. He had the best comment. This happened during Extreme Rules watch party. Thought my feed went dead. And here it was, a commercial for Manscaped. It's happening again.
And then a little compliment I see. So make sure you tell your husband, apparently he looks like Zack Ryder.
Okay, I'll take it. Thanks, guys. Remember, order your Manscaped WWT 20% off.
And
Joseph, you're good. You're good. We're here. We're back
here.
live. But
Yeah.
that was a legendary commercial, you guys. That's one of a kind right there.
And let's talk about, this Mother's Day dinner. It was so cute. He cooked this cake for her.
So
I
cute.
love romantic things. So these little things just make my heart happy. And I was just loving this whole moment. And, there's more to come with this baby. But there's a big topic that I do want to talk about that, Brandi just doesn't seem to get a break. And one of those things is that people do not believe that she should come back to wrestle after having a baby. I don't understand this stigma about once women get pregnant, their career in wrestling has to end. Emily, I need your opinion on this.
Oh my goodness. I think it's ridiculous. First of all, for anyone to input their opinion on what people should do with their careers or their lives or their decision to have a baby or not have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just get that out of the way. So I find it really frustrating that everyone's saying, well, why are you returning to wrestling? That doesn't make sense. She's 37, and it's so frustrating that people think that they can make those decisions. It's ultimately up to her. If she feels amazing and feels better than ever, and she's been training, by the way, she's been training like crazy. She looks amazing. I feel like she's transformed in a whole different way post baby. And there's a lot of pressure post baby, by the way, for women just not even in the wrestling industry, just in general, to just kind of get back to some type of normalcy pre-baby, right? And there's so much pressure, and I feel like there shouldn't be. I feel like it's a discussion, right? That needs to be had. Because it's I think she should do what makes her happy and what she thinks will further AEW, and if it fits into what they're figuring out, then she should do it. Like Becky Lynch is an example. I know someone brought her up in the chat. Becky Lynch has come back and she took the time she needed, right? And the story there is like incredible. Everyone was talking about it, right? So Brandi,
and she looks amazing.
And she looks amazing. And it's like Brandi should take her time, come back on her own time in the way that she wants, because she can do what she wants.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And not just that, like, I just don't feel like it's fair to judge women on like their pregnancies or, your life should end after you have a baby. Like, no, life continues. Yes, you have a baby. Yes, it's your responsibility. But we also see like a double standard in a way. Like Cody's like, I'm not taking paternity leave. You take care of everything. And then, I'll continue with my career. But I also don't think that's fair in the sense of like, okay, like women go through so much when giving birth and everything. So I do feel like he's gonna have like a change of mindset once he sees the baby. He sees how much work it is. Yes, they have a great support system. They have a like night nanny that they have planned to have, but I just don't think it's fair to have like to let him go off and continue his dreams because he wants to retire right at 40, and then her life should end like right away. No, I just don't think that's fair.
Yeah, and like, so it's interesting because right now we're kind of, the same thing happened with like Total Bellas and stuff like that. Is like we saw kind of the pregnancy when the baby was already born. So it's interesting kind of seeing this retrospective of like her pregnancy, that she was having a tough time. And, everyone has a different pregnancy experience. It's not always like rainbows and unicorns and fun things and sparkles and happy glow, right? You can be miserable. And I think it's nice to actually have her talk about it so openly. And and in the fact that she was still traveling and doing shows and doing all that, it's like inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Incredible. But I think because their baby's only like a few months old now, because she was born in June, right? So it's interesting to kind of see like it's a few months in, and to see like how they're starting to kind of navigate going back and figuring out what to do next.
Yeah, for sure. This is something that Haywood said that I had never heard of before. That she said she has some miscarriages, and it's a lot to deal with emotionally. Your body is changing, your hormones. Yeah, she was there at every show that she could be. She did not stop working till she really could not stop working. So props to her. And I think people have to remember also that there's a lot of women looking up to her. There's not only like now on reality TV, but the locker room. There's a lot of competitors who are in relationships who do want a family in the future. And I think I love to see that now it's like becoming a little bit more normal that in the middle of their career, they get pregnant and they're like, there's no like, oh, your career's over now. It's like, okay, cool. Have this moment, it's part of life. And if that's what they want in a relationship, I think like their job or them feeling like, oh, my career's over shouldn't have like an impact on that desire to have a baby, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And like, I think she also like, I love how she still took on other business ventures, like wine, making her Oh Baby wine, right?
Exactly.
And that reminded me of like the Bella twins too, where I was like, oh, they're doing like their wine adventures, and like they're still doing all of their business stuff. They're doing their podcast, and like she's still taking on this huge responsibility of being the chief brand officer of a company that's only like 2 years old. So I don't know. I just can't. She's just amazing. I can't speak more highly of her.
Like Bosa said, even pregnant Brandi is still that boss queen.
Seriously,
I agree.
she was like, and like she like in some of the previews you've seen her, or like some of her tweets lately, she's been like, "Oh, I can't wait for people to see like pregnant Brandi," right? And she keeps she's a little bit down on herself, right? But she was badass in this episode where she was like she was not taking anything from anyone.
I think it's also because she didn't have a great pregnancy. You know, not everyone has like the glow or the perfect pregnancy. So I love that she's like showing this side of it, that it's not all perfect. And, you know, there's a lot to come. And speaking of a lot to come, there's a baby shower as well in this episode. And ooh, that was a lot with a lot of different people in this. Take a sip of your wine because we're going to get into it.
It stresses me out. Family functions stress me out.
Well, speaking of family members, we have mother-in-laws, we have sisters who are very opinionated. Let's start with Brandi's mom. Thoughts on, you know, her saying she's the queen, and you know, you've been like, you're no longer the princess, there's another princess, and there's just a lot of opinions being thrown at her.
There's so many opinions. I mean, I love how I can tell where Brandi got her confidence, and I can appreciate that. But I found it interesting they had that discussion in the car about the night nanny, and that she was like, I'll be the night nanny.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I can say that grandparents say that like in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They say that because your sister has babies, right? So like,
yeah.
So they say that in the beginning, like, I'll be there. I'm going to take care of all of them. And then what really happens?
And then it's like, okay, part-time, here you go.
It's like part-time. Like, I can only handle an hour.
Yeah,
it's exactly. Like, no, you said you were going to do all night. That's 8 hours or 4 with a baby. What is it? 4 hours, 6 hours?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to just keep drinking wine.
Exactly. One of the things I loved was, though, to see, like, Cody's mom and her side of the story, in the sense of, like, you know, she was married to Dusty Rhodes and everyone looked at us like we were crazy. I lived this lifestyle and now I'm seeing them live this lifestyle. So I like to see, you know, her side of the story and how she held it together, because he was there for like a second when Cody was born and then he just left right away. So props to her, because it's not easy. In a way, I feel like a lot of moms who are in the wrestling industry are kind of like single moms sometimes, where most of the time they're on their own.
Well, I think there's a reality to the situation. No pun intended there. But you're on the road, especially if you're at a big company. Even when you're on the independent circuit, you're gonna be wrestling potentially 5 to 6 days a week because you need to make ends meet. That's your living, right? So you're on the road. And I think that's a reality that not everyone either can get used to or they're prepared for. And then when you add on a layer of having kids, it's a whole other, like you said, you feel very alone, and you could feel very like you don't have your support system. Right. So I think there was, like we saw in the baby shower, there's a little tension, right? There's a little baggage.
Yeah.
There's a little baggage there, which I think is understandable. And I found it interesting that Cody's response was like, well, I'm going to continue to do what I'm going to do. And he was like, I'm not like my dad. And I think there might be some similarities that everyone kind of looked at him.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe.
What were you thinking when he said that? When he was like, I'm not taking paternity leave. Like, she's got it. I'm going to go on the road.
I mean, I think he should, you know, I don't think he's necessarily thinking about Brandi at that point. I think, because you don't know at that point, at least at this moment in time. And again, I don't know exactly what happened once the baby was born, if he took a lot of time off. But I think you have to think, like, you don't know what will happen to Brandi. She might need support. You don't know, like, emotionally, physically, what support she needs. It's not just about taking care of the baby. You also have to take care of the mom, because the mom has so much. So, like, you have to be careful of, like, postpartum depression and, like, those things. And if you're just like, all right, I'm done and I'm going to go off, it doesn't just, like, switch on and off like that. So I'm sure we'll hear and see more in the coming episodes. And I think he'll change his mind. And I think we'll see that he took some time off.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a big reality check. I feel like she's more aware of like the reality of this, but I don't think he is. So I think like everyone says, once you see your baby, like your life and mindset changes. So let's hope that happens. Bosa said, I felt like Cody is like his dad. His dad went back to work after Cody was born, and now he's doing the same things to Brandi. And AW would have been fine without Cody for a month. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this unfolds. But I do want to talk about this big topic before we go, because it's just like I was just like shocked. So the sister, she has an opinion about Brandi using the Rhodes last name, and there's not a lot of acceptance in the family, or at least with her. I don't know if it's the mom too, but the sister was upset about her using the Rhodes last name when she debuted as a wrestler. Emily, thoughts about this and how she sent a paragraph or an essay pretty much before her match?
So I think it was totally, I know we were messaging each other about this. I think it was totally orchestrated that she did it on the day that she knew Brandi had a huge match, a huge moment that she had to be mentally in the moment for, which was not cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little unfair for her to be upset about that.
Yeah.
And I think when you marry into a family, you marry not only that person, but you're also marrying that family. And you're marrying into that family. And yeah, you might have drama, and there might be things that they don't agree that you're doing. And, there's always family drama no matter what, right? But you should, and she was really close, she was really close with the family and Cody's dad. And, so it's kind of unfair. And I get, his sister's super sensitive to it right now, which is totally understandable. But I think it was uncalled for. They could have had a conversation. And maybe Brandi could have went to her and gave her a heads up, and that might have helped kind of smooth it over. But I don't think that the long message was appropriate.
Well, to me, it's she got the permission from the person that it should have came from, right? Yeah. Brandi said that Dusty approved and he let her use the last name. And to me, personally, I think that's what matters. There's something that was mentioned in this episode that caught my attention, that Cody said that she's always been the center of attention. Oh, no, she even said it herself, the sister.
Yeah, she said it. Yeah.
She's always been the center of attention. So this is where I think there's jealousy maybe, that she's okay, now Brandi is the center of attention because she's taking the last name. In the wrestling world, I had no idea they had a sister until this show. So maybe she's jealous of this whole situation, the fact that she gets to represent the family now, not only as Cody Rhodes' wife, but also the last name in the wrestling industry as well. So
yeah, I mean,
there's
that's a good point
there too.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, if she was taking shots at the baby shower and doing all that stuff, and I think she's used to getting that attention, which she said herself, and it's one of those things that you just she has to accept Brandi. They have to, they're sister-in-laws, I guess. So you have to just love each other. And obviously this baby is here. They have to take, she's an aunt now. You just accept it, right? And just hopefully have those conversations before it gets elevated to a point where you're sending a nasty message, because you don't want you don't want to burn any bridges.
Where now their baby's first birthday comes and you don't want to invite her because
exactly, you don't want drama.
Exactly. You don't want to get to that point. And I think a key thing that Cody said as well was, I don't think my family realizes that Brandi is part of this family, not only by marriage, but she's really in the family now. So this is one of the things that scares me, in the future when I get married and whoever my in-laws are, or like I worry about these things. Like, what if this happens to me? Like,
first of all, if your in-laws don't like you, just don't marry into that family because you're amazing. So if they don't like you, something's wrong with them. Something's wrong with them.
I mean, I'm sure your in-laws love you because you are the nicest person too. Yes, come on.
I mean, I love my mother-in-law. I have to give. So when I see like my examples of mother-in-laws on reality TV, I'm like, oh, thank God, I got a good one.
Yeah, because I mean, you think these things are like not true, and then you see like these little like the truth about it. Like, who would have thought Brandi and Cody have these problems in their family, and that she's like so attacked by them in a way? Like, props to her for being so like carefree, and that she's just like, you know, I don't care what you say.
Haywood is giving the sister her handle. Are we gonna ask her these questions? We want to see.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited to see, their dynamic, if it changes once the baby is born. But like Bosa said, I agree with Leslie. Cody's sister is jealous of Brandi's success and the fact that Cody met somebody in the wrestling business. That's a good point. But I think the point here is that I'm glad that the relationship is strong enough to like ignore all the like noise outside. And even though it's family, sometimes men could be like, well, it's my mom or it's my sister, I can't like just, they're kind of take one side, but he's like very like, it's our relationship. This is my wife and they have to accept it. So I love that.
No, yeah, I love it too. I think I think Cody and Brandi, they're celebrating their wedding anniversary. I think it's September. I think it passed already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because they got married in like 2013 or so.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like, they've been together for a while. So I don't understand how do you not accept this yet? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, September 12th. September 12th was their wedding anniversary. So it's been 8 years. So almost a decade.
Like, come on.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. But Emily, is there anything else that you want to talk about, or what are you excited for to see, this season? Because there's a lot more to come, and I can't wait to be talking about it here with you.
I know. I'm so excited. I mean, I think we covered the first episode. Yeah. I'm excited to see
two, actually.
Yeah, I'm excited to see I don't know. I want to see more behind the scenes AEW footage. I want to see more talent coming in and out. I want to see a little bit more. I kind of want to see more Tony Khan and see how he works with talent. See how he's like building this brand and how he works with Cody and Brandi. I want to see maybe a little more family drama. I'm all for that.
Yes.
I'm excited for all of it.
Drama. We're going to need some more wine to continue talking about this show. But this is a season premiere, you guys. There's so much more to come. So make sure you stay tuned this week, because it was an hour premiere. We started at 9 p.m. PST. But starting next week and for the rest of the season, we're going to actually start at 8. So make sure you join us. Keep checking our Instagrams. Keep following us. On all social media at WWT Pod, so you can keep track on everything that's going on. We also have shows on Fight TV, so just make sure to follow us. Emily, where can the people find you?
Well, you can all follow me if you're not already on all social platforms at Emily Mae Heller, and I have some exciting things happening as always. So follow me and you'll get all the dish there.
Yeah, for sure. And you can follow me on all social media at Leslie Colon _. Also, make sure to check out our website. We do have articles at www.talkpod.com. And we will see you next week, same day at 8 p.m. this time. Thank you guys for joining us. And this is Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. We will see you soon.
Bye. Good night.
Fight presents.
Women's Wrestling Talk.